in her hotel suite in 1962. She was reading the newspaper one day.
Congress had a bill to tax dividends. And she said many of these people, the actors and so forth, and her friends that depended upon dividends to live on. And she got very upset, and she got the phone, and she asked the operator, "Get me the president." And it must have been woman said, "President who?" And she says, "The President of the United States, Mr. Kennedy, I want to talk to him."
The person they're talking about there is Sophie Tucker. And that's a clip from an amazing documentary called The Outrageous Sophie Tucker. Now, if you're not familiar with Sophie Tucker, just real quick, she had a 60-year career in show business, and she was so big. During the 1920s, she was rated the #1 female singer. Now, thing is, also, it's interesting about Sophie Tucker, and by the way, we're going to get to the rest of this clip in a minute, but I just got to give you some background on her. She was like the Forrest Gump of her time. She knew over the 60-year period of her career, she knew everybody. I mean, virtually everybody. Just to give you one quick example, I mean, she knew presidents and the King of England. She was very good friends with King George VI. Now, here's the thing. Just to give you one quick example, she was very good friends with J. Edgar Hoover of the FBI, but at the same time, she was also tremendous. She was buddies with Al Capone in Chicago. So that's really fascinating. And one other thing, she instituted a lot of innovations that to this day we don't know that she was the one behind it. Just to give you one example, you know how authors of books, they set up tables and they sign their books. You know, you buy their books and they autograph them for you. Well, guess who started that? Sophie Tucker. She had her autobiography that she published, and wherever she performed in the lobby, after the performance, in the lobby of the theater, she would set up a card table and she would sign her books for people. She was the first one to do it. In fact, she was always saying, you know, people who wanted her autograph, you know what? Sign my book. I mean, buy my book, and then she'd sign it. So, anyway, let's get back to the video I started with about her and John F. Kennedy. She called John F. Kennedy. Now, the thing is, we have to ask this question. Did Sophie Tucker inspire the economic boom of the 1960s via lower tax rates? So let's get back to where she called John F. Kennedy, and there was a witness there who's Mr. Green, as you'll see. And so let's get back to that.
Now, a few minutes later, they got on the phone, and she said, "Mr. President, this is Sophie Tucker." And he said, "Hiya, Soph," because we could all hear his voice. And she says, "This is a business call." And she says, "I don't want you to sign that bill taxing dividends before these people, these poor people, can even spend the money." And then she said, "You and Jackie, come see me." And he says, "We'll try." And she said, "Well, take care of yourself." They said goodbye, and she hung up. And I said, "How did you tell the President of the United States not to sign something?" She says, "Well, I know his father better than I know him." And she did.
Yeah.